Hi, welcome to the Football Friends podcast for another week. I'm joined here by Paddy.
Kia ora. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
Fantastic.
Yeah, no Ash today, unfortunately, but we will see him this weekend. It's his bachelor's weekend, actually.
All of ours?
Yeah, well, Ash is the bachelor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ineligible bachelor.
Yeah. So, let's start the show.
Let's start the show. And you wanted to kick off with a quote from the great
Yes.
Sir Eric Cantona.
Yes, of course. Okay, so as some of you may know, that this year there will be a World Cup, the end of this year. It's quite odd. I mean, it's happening in the middle of the season,
Yes.
right? So because it's in November,
It starts on November.
Yeah.
The 20-something.
and it's in Qatar,
Yeah. As if that wasn't odd enough.
the sand heaven,
Yeah.
basically is what it is.
The home of football, I'm sure you'll agree.
Yeah, and so Eric Cantona was interviewed recently, and he had a few things to say. He said, quote I got here is, "To be honest, I don't really care about the next World Cup, which is not a real World Cup for me. In the last decades, you've had lots of these Olympic Games or World Cups in countries that are emerging, like Russia or China. But Qatar, this is not a country of football. I'm not against the idea of hosting a World Cup in a country where there is a possibility to develop and promote football, like in South Africa or the United States in the 90s. Football's the most popular feminine sport in the United States, and there's a lot of South American immigration, so big potential for the sport to develop."
Yeah. Spot on so far. I mean, he's having a go at the human rights record.
Yeah, well, so yeah, he
As well.
kind of carries on here just about saying United States would be a good choice, but then he thinks that the decision that it's gone to Qatar was only about money, and yeah, everyone knows about that, how FIFA's corrupt and the like, you know. They've been accused of it many times, and so Cantona's saying that he will not watch the World Cup. He's like,
I mean, personally, I don't have that sort of fortitude.
yeah, I mean,
As much as I would like to have the balls, I guess, to personally boycott it, it's a World Cup.
well, we'd have nothing to talk about on the podcast. We can't.
I don't have nothing to talk
it's our
about
job.
in my life.
It's our job. We have to watch it.
We get paid.
Yeah. Well, by then,
By then, also no.
who knows? One day. But yeah. So he's saying he's going to boycott it, and you know, saying here too that most young footballers, they grow up in very poor areas. They come from poor areas, and then they become footballers, and a chance to save themselves. Right? It's like this kind of pathway to freedom, and then
Yeah.
those are the kind of countries where they should be having the World Cups. It's kind of saying that. Not a country that sort of bought this World Cup.
That bought the World Cup and is paying for it with the deaths of hundreds of people.
So yeah, you can look this one up, but it seems like there was a lot of dodgy business going on in Qatar when they were building these stadiums. Qatar, they use like migrant workers, and they sometimes like hold their passports hostage and do all sorts of crazy practices. I've heard this from, I used to work with Filipino construction workers and stuff like that, and they would tell us stories about that. They all had friends that went to Qatar, and had
their passports seized.
Things like that were like threatened and all sorts, and just sometimes not paid for long periods of time and all sorts of things. So
Yeah, horrendous.
yeah,
And
so
believable.
just terrible working conditions and things like that. And yeah, so a lot of people actually suffered, and it's really ironic like that. FIFA is so corrupt like this sometimes, and there's a lot of hypocrisy that we see it frequently. We've talked about it before in the past, and
Yeah.
it's just going to carry on. It's like this World Cup is kind of a joke, and I think he makes a really good point.
Like you've pointed out to me before, and I'm sure we may have even mentioned it on the podcast. You know, FIFA World Cup uniforms are mandated to have like the respect sticker on the arm and the say no to racism stuff, and yet we're allowed to have a UEFA Cup final in Azerbaijan where one of the players from one of the teams can't play because he's from Armenia, and we've got a respect sticker on our arm for hundreds or thousands of dead migrant workers who died for a country who paid to get the World Cup.
Yeah.
No respect. No, what respect?
Yeah, I know. It's pretty hypocritical to have those kind of messages, and then you have these competitions in countries with human rights abuses like this.
And you see their actions, and you know what they're really about.
And the last point you touched on, Cantona agrees with you. He says, meritocracy and potential is the essence of football, and so it's really surprising that to see a World Cup in Qatar, who bought it.
Yeah,
Buying it is not. That's nothing to do with meritocracy.
And I don't doubt that when footballing, like legitimate footballing countries host, they have welcome parties for the FIFA delegates. Fine. Yeah, there's all sorts of soft bribes and that kind of thing going on, no doubt. But this is actually bought and paid for, right? This is like, what else is it?
Yeah, totally. And look, to be fair, I gotta say, Brazil, they sort of had some issues as well. There is another side to this as well, right? Like, the pressure that the countries get put under to have the standard they need for a World Cup can be quite bad. Like, it's you got to have like a certain amount of stadiums and all sorts of certain capacity.
Yeah, and they've got to be of a certain quality as well. So very few countries could host a World Cup tomorrow.
Yeah,
and he mentioned the United States. The United States could do it.
Yeah,
it's the size of a continent, but yeah, they could do it.
Well, they have so many stadiums. They have so many sports teams, and every team has a massive stadium.
Yeah.
Everywhere to go.
For each sport.
And then the same for the college teams and everything.
Yeah,
so
that's nuts.
There's stadiums everywhere. So, yeah. Cantona's totally right. And yeah, the female side of it too as well. But back in Brazil, right, since they've had their World Cup, I remember watching this documentary about it, whatever, and now some of the stadiums used in that World Cup are like completely abandoned.
Yeah,
they're full of snakes.
Desolate.
Yeah.
Full of snakes.
Yeah, it's like snakes.
How ironic.
Yeah, so, because it's just in the middle of nowhere, or it's like this, they were put in this small town
they've cut bits of the Amazon out to just drop a stadium.
Yeah, basically. And so, and that was all built, that's like it's kind of wasteful,
Yeah, you don't say. It's crazy. But if you want to consume international football, like you want to watch it, you have no choice. It's not like wrestling, where if you don't like WWE, you can go watch another one. It's football. You either watch the FIFA World Cup, or you don't watch.
Yeah, there's only one World Cup. Yeah, right. Well, and that's kind of the issue, I suppose, is FIFA has the monopoly on this, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you get, right, when it's a monopoly. But it's hard to imagine in another way too. If there was factions.
Imagine if there were two, forget. Yeah, FIFA number 2.
SmackDown versus Raw.
Yeah. Okay. So imagine the SmackDown World Cup. But next World Cup, England go and join SmackDown because that's where all the shit teams are, and we might finally, lose in the final against Nigeria or something.
Yeah, and so they do end up doing the Super League, but they do it with international teams instead.
Holy shit! Oh my freaking god!
Yeah, so I know too that when you do host a World Cup, you don't really make any money either, because of all the corruption within FIFA.
FIFA take it.
Yeah, they take all the money. Yeah. And I know, Brazil had to, change laws for it to happen to it. They had to make it... They had a law that you would not allow to drink alcohol in stadiums, just in general, because they had problems with that. Yeah. So it just became a total ban. And it was working real good. But since, I think one of the main sponsors for the World Cup was, Carlsberg? Budweiser. And yeah, they needed to sell their product in the stadiums.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
So what? And did they find a way around that? Did they just sell Budweiser 0% or?
No, I think they just sell the beers. Yeah.
So you're not
they just
allowed
changed
to.
it,
You're not
yeah.
allowed to drink alcohol in the stadium, but you are
Well, they like changed the law, or like temporarily or something. Yeah.
for 1 month.
Yeah. Well, but think about it, right? Where I'm leading in with this is, and now remember Qatar. So like the locals are not allowed to drink alcohol in Qatar. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
They have like largely a liquor ban, but then it's supposed to be like,
but then some liquor company will be a partial sponsor of the World Cup,
Yeah.
and they will expect to have their product sold in World Cup stadiums where you're not allowed to drink alcohol in a country where you're not allowed to drink alcohol.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird. It's a bit funny, but okay, I need to look into this, but from what I remember, where the stadiums are is on like a separate island, like they built with sand or something.
Yeah,
Sandland.
Let's be honest. If you ignore all the other implications, that's kind of amazing. Imagine, because
They just buy land.
Because is it the UAE? They have the world, but it's made of sand.
Yeah, like the islands. There's
So
all
you
the
have
islands
that,
over the world.
and you build so you have Europe and whatever. You build a replica of the Bernabeu on the Spain part of the island.
Yeah.
And then you play. And then you have a big Russian one, and you have Wembley an American one.
No, I got you one bit. You play the world's largest game of Risk.
Isn't that what they're doing?
Yeah. Oh, but I suppose the world's largest game of Risk would just be World War II.
Isn't it just a war?
Yeah, a World War. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Anything else you want to say on that?
Cantona's a G, and he should do a flying kick on the president of FIFA.
Into what? Who's it now? It used to be Sepp Blatter or whatever. Yeah.
I think his name's Infantino, which is amazing. Like, I think it's Gianni Infantino. So his name is like John Child.
Okay, right.
Brilliant. Which, I mean, I might be wrong, but I'm sticking with it.
Could it be like Young?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's probably more like it.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, Cantona should karate kick him in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sweet chin music.
Yeah. Sweet chin. Well, leading back to the SmackDown theme from before.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's no better way to cap that section off.
Okay, so yeah, all right. So now we'll move on to talk about just some of these cup matches.
The magic of the FA Cup was alive and well.
Because there hasn't really been any Premier League, has there?
I think since we last talked, there has been 2 Premier League games.
Yeah. Okay.
Which were yesterday and this morning.
Yeah.
But the magic of the cup was alive and well. Where the team I support played the place that I'm from.
Interesting.
Liverpool played Shrewsbury, and Liverpool won 4-1. And we went behind as well at Anfield.
Unreal.
But then one of our young boys, Cade Gordon, became the second youngest scorer for Liverpool ever.
Oh, okay.
And
who was the youngest?
I want to say it's Jerome Sinclair.
Okay.
But even that might be wrong. Might be a bit.
Don't tell anyone.
It's a foot. It's
Look it up.
definitely
Look it up. Prove us wrong.
It's definitely a footballer.
Yeah, cool.
So he played and he scored a goal. Nice.
Gangster.
Bobby Firmino scored a back heel. So you keep the tradition of doing no looks.
Yeah. Yeah, well, because it kind of has to be a no look when it's a back heel.
Yeah. If there was a man who could have a 180 swivel head, it would probably be Bobby Firmino. He'd be able to do it. Like, you think, oh, he's done another no-look goal, and you look at him and his head facing backwards.
No, he just knows. He's like the pinball wizard. He operates by sense of smell.
First of all, is that how pinball works?
No, that's how the pinball wizard. You know the song by The Who?
Pinball wizard.
That's the he's got such a supple wrist. Yeah.
That's an odd lyric.
Well, that's what you need to be really good at pinball, all right?
So has he got supple ankles?
Well, because he's a deaf, dumb, and blind kid, and he sure plays a mean pinball. So, since he's deaf, dumb, and blind, he can't.
That
He does it by sense of smell.
doesn't describe Bobby at all.
No, like I'm saying, his vision is so beyond. It's like, he doesn't need to look.
It's a football wizard.
Yeah, he doesn't need eyes to play football.
Wow. This is a revelation. And of course, Fabinho scored twice.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unreal.
Cool.
Well, real, but not what I exactly would have thought.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Would
be like if I told you Nemanja Matic scored 2 goals.
I mean, I can remember one Nemanja Matic goal, and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's just my bias against Nemanja Matic.
Yeah, fair enough.
That filthy Serb.
Well. Look, we're not a tennis podcast, all right?
I mean, yeah. Again, the Tennis Friends podcast sounds a bit weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Old Novak Djokovic, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. The only player to lose the Aussie Open by only missing 2 shots.
Well, the thing is, he still may play, but who knows? It could. I don't know. It could go either way at this point.
It's all just a big mess.
From what I understand, he applied for his visa before he went, and then it got
accepted.
Well, accepted, yeah. So, and then he got there. Then the border was like, nah, screw you. They sort of operated independently, and then so when it went to court, the judge overruled it because it's genuine.
Because it's a valid visa.
Yeah.
Given on valid grounds.
But then now, I think he's training, but they may change their mind because it's come out that he now he got interviewed like 2 days after testing positive and like all sorts of things.
Right.
Yeah. So, and there was some issue on, remember when we flew to Australia and you fill out that card on the plane, which is like, do you have a bomb?
Have
you been to a farm lately? It
asks
you like all sorts of weird questions, yeah. But, and so they put the wrong thing on that form.
Have you been to a farm?
That is one of the questions. So have you been near livestock or something? And then, they put, it's like, have you travelled in the last whatever? And then they said no. But he'd been to Spain and like some other things.
I'm a professional tennis player. Of fucking course I am.
Yeah. So they're saying it was a mistake, but
yeah.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. A lot of people are very emotional about this one.
Mr. Djokovic, in the box where it said, please write nothing in this box, you wrote, okay. Okay, I feel like that just about sums up Shrewsbury versus Liverpool.
Yeah, so back to the other ball sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've said what I want to say, but while we're on the topic of my club, I heard just a voice clip of Klopp on the radio, and he was being asked by a very, very brummy man about what he thinks of Coutinho joining Villa. And Klopp, he couldn't understand him. And he was just like, I'm sorry, what? It was like Jurgen Klopp speaks clearer English than, journalist A from Birmingham.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Is beautiful.
What? Yeah. I have another tangent if you want to go for it.
I'll indulge you.
Well, I just found out that so in Britain they have BBC Pigeon.
What?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, of course, you know what I mean when I say pigeon, right? Like they're fucking. That's like the LEG speak.
Oh,
and so they have BBC in Pigeon, like the news.
So it's BBC performed by people who can't speak English.
Well, they speak that Pigeon English, or that's what they call it.
Oh my god! Alright, so a bomb was dropped in like Siberia or some shit, and it was a mad thing. All right.
Yeah, that stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah. So they have BBC News Pigeon.
Pigeon? Is it? It's called that as well.
Yeah, I think they spell like PID
Gin.
Gin, yeah. Yeah.
I'm disappointed, and my day is ruined.
Yeah.
There was a great tangent, though. I mean...
Oh, I thought you'd like that, yeah.
Yeah, I like it and hate it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Speaking of Villa, they played Manchester United.
Yes, so we played Villa in our FA Cup game, and it was all right.
It was all right.
It was all right. Like we won, cool.
It seemed a bit laboured.
Oh well, I mean
look, getting drawn against another Premier League team in the third round of the Cup is always a bit. Do we have to? Like, you want to. You've just had a huge string of games. We all have in the Premier League, and then first or second game after New Year's, and you've got to play another Premier League team. It's rough. Really, you want to be playing someone shit. I mean,
it'd be nice to have a break and
with respect
rotate.
to lower league teams, you want to play someone. You want to play one of them.
Yeah, we want a bit of a break. So
yeah.
Then, but 10 minutes in, we get our goal from McFred's special.
A McFred special.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Large McFred combo.
Yeah, Fred just bangs it over. McTominay heads it down. Easy.
And that's the way it stayed.
Yeah, it was just kind of both teams kind of had a few chances and stuff, but
yeah,
no one really came close. They had a couple of chances which they just sort of outpaced us again. I've talked about this before. Like we actually now we're kind of lacking pace when you think about the
few. You don't necessarily have slow players.
Well, it was just like Lindelof could not catch Ollie Watkins, and that was kind of what was happening. And they have fast players too, and Ollie Watkins and Buendia both looked pretty dangerous, and probably could have scored on another day.
Yeah,
we played De Gea in that match. Yeah, I found that weird. Like so we were worried. That's kind of the way I read that.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of weird because it's players like Dean Henderson always complaining that it doesn't get any game time.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. But
yeah, so
maybe he just did a Football Manager and forgot to take him out.
Yeah. Oh, I literally did that the other day.
You do it all the time.
Yeah, it sucks.
Except normally it's the other way around, right? Normally you put your second choice 19-year-old goalkeeper in for a cup game, and then your next game is Chelsea away, and he's still in.
He keeps clean sheet.
And he scores.
Yeah. It was all right, but then so it's funny because a lot of people are going after us. Like I don't know if you've seen. You probably don't see the same headlines I do, but it's pretty negative towards Man U and stuff. Like
yeah.
But when you think about it, in the first 7 games for Rangnick, so 4 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss.
Decent.
Not bad.
You span that across a season, and that's times it by 5. So 20 wins, 60 points, 10 draws, 70.
Yeah, it's all right.
And then add a few more on because I'm rounding up.
Yeah.
So if you get 75 points, you probably finish 4th.
Yeah. So it's fine. It's not too bad. I think Rangnick needs a bit more time. We've had 3 managers this season that it doesn't get easier with the more managers you cycle through.
Yeah, ask Watford.
Yeah, so Ronaldo agrees with me. He said the same kind of thing. Like he just said it today that Rangnick needs a bit more time. He is implementing changes. He's only been there 5 weeks, and these changes are big. They will take time.
Yeah,
and like I pointed out last time, there's possibly 11 players that have the potential to leave the squad. So it's when we consider the amount of pressure that is happening at the moment, things are going okay.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to sort of smooth down, and I mean, look, the cost of utter dominance of the 90s and 2000s for Man U is this period where United are not the best team in the league anymore. But they are treated with the scrutiny of the best team in the league.
For sure.
And that's, logically that's wrong. It's not fair. It's not true, I guess. But that's how it is. It is how it is. Not everyone can think with such articulation as us.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. That sounds pretty apt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with Arsenal. Everyone thinks that Arsenal are shit when you talk to them about football. It's like, what do you think of Arsenal? They are shit. It's like, well, are they? Are they actually or are they just in a bit of a bad patch after being the second best team in England for about 10, 15 years?
Yeah. It's absurd to actually think that one would dominate forever. That just doesn't happen. There's always a cycle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. Things are okay. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Cool. So the next, he's not here, but his team did play in the cup.
Yes.
And they played. I want to say they played Morecambe.
Yeah, it was Morecambe.
Who also took the lead. Away from home. So Tottenham were at White Hart Lane.
Yeah.
And they played a pretty strong squad. Like looking through the starting lineup, it was Kane played and scored. Just let me find it. Thrilling.
Right. Yeah.
Dele Alli played. So they didn't start with their strongest, but Dele Alli played. Brian Hill, Ndombele, Winks played.
Yeah. Right.
Sessegnon, Davis, Joe Rogan, Galini.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan. Tanganga. Right. So it was bits and pieces. But the players who came on, obviously, bit of an impact because Harry Kane scored and Lucas Moura scored both after coming on.
Oh yeah.
And this was like 85 and 88.
Right.
So up until that point, Spurs, it was tied.
Wait, did you say Harry Winks scored?
Harry Winks scored, but on 74.
Yeah.
So until the 73rd minute, Spurs were going to go out of the cup to Morecambe on their own gaff.
Have you seen his cup?
I have not.
That's really good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's really good.
Brief diversion. Also not in the cup, but brief diversion.
Yeah.
I suppose this probably leads in quite nicely, but are you aware of Mr. Andy Carroll?
Unfortunately,
you remember him?
Yeah.
He's currently plying his trade for Reading.
I thought you were going to say like a hardware store or something.
He's currently working at Placemakers.
He's currently reading.
Cannot guarantee.
Right.
But he had two absolute worldies chalked off in their most. So one was like a proper bicycle kick, offside.
Damn.
And one was chest, volley, goal, also offside.
Oh.
And Reading lost 7-0.
What?
7-0. And also they're in absolute toilet. And they're in danger of like points deduction and being liquidated. Shocking. They can't read, bro. Reading can't read.
Right. Okay. Damn. That sucks.
Of course, this didn't happen in the cup, but
yeah.
Bad.
Oh, that's
quite bad.
That's interesting. Shit. Okay. Rip Reading.
Yeah. So rip Reading. Rip Andy Carroll. But to segue on from Andy Carroll, his former team, Newcastle United, they also played in the FA Cup, and they hosted the might of Cambridge United.
Yes, that well-known
good university, not great football club, or not great football team, but you don't need to be a great football team to beat Newcastle, as they did 1 mighty 0.
Oh,
it's just
shocking. Oh no, embarrassing.
Yeah. Shocking.
No.
Yeah, not very shocking at all.
Well, have they? So Yeah, I'm not shocked, but did that match contain any of their new players? They only won one at the time.
I don't think Trippier was able to play.
Okay.
But that again, that segues nicely onto the
so we might as well talk about Newcastle for a little bit because they've made 2 signings now. So that Trippier.
Yeah. So Trippier thought to himself, I've scored in a World Cup semi-final. I've played in the Champions League final.
I've won La Liga.
I won La Liga. Assist in the Euro final. And now my new dream is to help Newcastle win the championship.
Yeah. yeah, he'll be great in the championship.
Yeah. So look, decent signing. And fair enough for him. He's probably on a packet. Yeah. He's probably on an absolute wad.
Maybe Newcastle are just thinking like, no, not getting relegated is priority number 1. Get out of this cup right now.
yeah, maybe. The thing is absolutely possible. Absolutely possible.
So then, Trippier's in there.
It'd be amazing if the coach just showed up and he fielded the under 13s or something, or some literal academy kids, and they were like, "Do you think this is a bit disrespectful to Cambridge or to the cup in general?" And he was just like, "What do you mean? These are their best players." Yeah. Just like.
This is what happens when we rest our first team.
Sir, there is 11 debuts. It's like, what do you mean? Have you never heard of Billy Bob?
Yeah, he's like, last game I had 11 people play. He's like, what's your point?
Last game featured 11 players.
Yeah.
And this one also features 11 players.
Yeah. So then the news today came about that I suppose our boy.
I mean, we can say that.
Yeah,
this is a New Zealand based. This is a New Zealand based podcast.
The Chris Wood podcast. That's basically the only association we have with.
He is from the country that we are in.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Chris Wood, our man.
So officially
a gracious step sideways-ish. Yeah, sideways. Yeah.
He's actually gone down the table.
Oh,
has he?
Yeah, probably.
Look, Newcastle's got wood, is what we're saying. So Chris.
Yeah. Yeah. No wonder they're excited.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean, that's for sure. Chris Wood's signed from Burnley, and Sean Dyche is not happy. By the sounds of it, it was pretty much from underneath him.
Oh damn.
Yeah. They also want Tarkowski.
Okay.
Which if Sean Dyche has any, I imagine he'll be at, I was going to say Burnley Airport, but probably need to take a plane. We're at Burnley train station. With a big stick.
Yeah.
Beating away Tarkowski's face. If you leave, fucking do your head in.
Yeah, right. Oh, okay. So,
it's quite a smart transfer strategy, isn't it? Though, stealing your.
Don't ask the manager.
Well, no. I mean, from Newcastle, stealing your relegation rivals' best players.
True. Yeah, actually, right. They go further down, you go up. So that's a good point.
It's like if he's not scoring goals for Burnley, then
he might as well not score goals for us.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? Fresh start. Trippier's got a good cross.
I was going to say, that's precisely what my line was going to be. So they've got the crossing of Trippier and a 6'5" Chris Wood.
With a big melon.
What do you think their current game plan might be?
Yeah. So, right. But then, I guess if they don't get Tarkowski, I have seen them linked to Diego Carlos.
Lofty. It's quite a big dream.
What I saw most recently was they put in a bid. First bid got rejected, and now they're preparing a second bid. So, but he's not a young man. He's 29 or so, but he's still.
I think that's fine though. When Man City started their project, they weren't exactly buying children.
Yeah,
they were buying,
and they're getting players from Atletico Madrid and those kind of places. So.
Yeah.
I think it's reasonable for. Yeah.
Look,
that would be a good start. They need a solid foundation.
Yeah, it's at the back where Newcastle seriously need to make some signings. So Tarkovsky would be good, but if...
Well, so at least it's looking like they're going to seek out a centre-back next. That's...
Yeah, they definitely need at least one.
They just need
probably
to
at least,
sign players.
Probably at least two.
How many players do you think they could potentially sign?
If you made me guess how many players will Newcastle sign, we should make a game of this.
Well, remember,
we should play this game.
But I showed you last week the Football Manager team from in the future,
and that was 9. 8.
They still had Saint Maximin, Callum Wilson, and Dubravka.
Well, I was genuinely going to say 7.
Yeah, well, they'd probably still have was it Lascelles? He's good.
Yep, decent.
And Willock.
Fabian Scher's okay, but thing is,
he hasn't played much lately. I think he's dropped off even more.
Okay,
but yeah, like they could potentially replace him.
My guess would be 7.
7 players.
Would you like to have a go?
You say 7.
I'm saying 7. I mean, you could say 7 as well, but that's not much.
That sounds good. 7.
Not much of a game.
Well,
but
okay,
fair enough.
I'll go 5.
Okay,
we'll see.
Fair enough. It's going to be 6 now as well.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Yeah. Great.
So yeah, fair enough. Newcastle looking to dish out some of that delicious oil money.
Mm. Yeah, well, they're now the richest club in the world, right?
Chris Wood now plays for the biggest club in the world.
Amazing. See, New Zealand football is moving up in the power rankings.
I reckon New Zealand should get at least 1 place in the rankings for that.
Mm. Well, okay, no joke. In like a season, and 2 seasons later in my old Football Manager career, Kakacha was playing for Manchester City.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
He's good. He's a good player.
Well, let's see what happens. Maybe in 2 seasons he'll be playing for Newcastle.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
Get him now while he's cheap. Good idea.
Yeah.
Look,
right.
Newcastle, Eddie Howe, if you're listening, sign him.
Okay, well, anything else you want to say on Newcastle? Then yeah, we'll see.
They're mental.
Well, yeah, let's see. They may make all these signings and then still get relegated. That'd be funny.
Yes. Yeah, I hear that they're trying to sign. There's definitely a few Brentford players on the list. So that, like, to weaken the clubs around you is a decent start.
Probably the best move, yeah.
And it is actually also roughly what Man City did when they got loads of money. They bought loads of players from Spurs and Arsenal. You know, the teams around them, Villa, Everton.
Well, they could go for like Phil Jones.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Philip.
I think Phil Jones, played the other day. It was quite weird, and he played all right.
He got applauded off as well. I mean, it's not like he played an amazing game. He played well, but it's about him. Like, he's been at the club for 10 years, and had some nasty shit said about him, including on this podcast. But he is still there, and he's still loyal, and he still puts his graft in when he plays. When he
put in the work and made it back, yeah. So I think people like that, yeah.
And he put in the work of having other centre-backs injured. Was that his fault?
No, I mean, he put in the work to get fit again and all that. Because he was injured at the start of the season and all sorts.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Long-term injuries and shit, so...
Fair enough.
But, yeah, Newcastle, it could be a good move for him. It seems he's... maybe we could then sign a centre-back.
So do we want to briefly talk about the League Cup?
Oh, yeah.
Because we kind of glossed... We did the Cup.
You're right. We missed the other
one.
Cup. Yeah.
So this morning, Chelsea and Spurs played the second leg.
Their second leg after the first one was a 2-0
for Chelsea. And Chelsea are confirmed. Chelsea are going to Wembley.
Yeah. So, well, Chelsea scored. Well, it was 1.
It was 1-0
at
White Hart Lane.
And
Spurs, pretty good goal. Oh, Tony.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about this before. Weren't we? There's potential that Rudiger may leave.
Wait, is he in his last year? Like it's
I
here
think so. I think
6 months after this.
Well, yeah, his contract's running down. Or something like that, and he's refused a contract, from what I understand. And because his wage demand is he wants to be like the highest paid defender in the league.
See, when you said that, I was like, sure. I thought surely you'd mean like at the club, but if it is at the league, that's really, it's really unusual, right? It's like I want you to take notice of what other clubs are paying their defenders, and I want you to pay me more.
Well, yeah, I think he's trying to say, like, I'm the best defender in the league, like, so pay me accordingly, or I'm going to go.
He's been very good this season.
Well, yeah, sure. He is the leader of Chelsea, which is a very well-organised defensive team.
He's the leading goal scorer in this game.
Yep, and he scores goals. He does all sorts. You know?
Yeah, wins assists.
Mm-hmm. And he has... You know, I've bashed him in the past too when he was not good, but lately his run of form has been pretty steady. You know, he's been consistent, definitely, and that's something that's worth a lot of money. So, I've heard that there are other clubs sniffing around, like Real Madrid and a couple of other big teams. So
yeah, possible.
If he's got an offer like that coming in, and he's just like, no,
It'd be difficult to say no, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and you just can make some stupid wage demand, and it's like, well, yeah,
and they'll just do it because it's Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So they'll be like, oh, we get to sign a new player. Fun. I like it.
Yeah, so that could be interesting, but that was because we did notice that in that match, Chelsea played Malang Sarr.
Yeah,
who must have just returned from loan.
Yeah, honestly, like where was he at Rennes? He was in France somewhere, right?
I can't recall exactly where he was, but I know that he did go on loan.
Okay.
And yeah, it makes sense. He's returned now, and he's straight into the team. They'll see if he can
fill the hole.
Yeah, fill the hole, because they have been a bit. That's the thing. Even though they haven't had any injuries or anything, they are kind of short on defenders because they have Thiago's. They play three centre backs. Thiago
Silva, Espili, Rudiger.
Yeah, Rudiger, and then it's.
And then they have Malang Sarr and Christensen.
And yeah, I haven't seen much of Christensen. Yeah,
no, well, you won't. He's. I mean,
you said Chalobah, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say Chalobah.
Oh, okay, then Chalobah, right? So Chalobah was sort of introduced as the newer one, and now they got Malang Sarr as well.
Yeah, so that might be a clue as to what Rudiger's future is.
Yeah, so it could be the case. It seems like they're setting this up, but also it's interesting that they still have Kurt Zouma, right?
No, he left to Milan.
Permanent?
I believe so.
Oh, what Zouma?
Yeah.
No, you think it tomorrow?
I think Kurt Zouma went there as well.
No, it's Everton.
Kurt Zouma went to Everton. No, I was thinking of Tomori. Sorry.
Yeah. Tomori's at AC Milan.
Tomori went to Milan. Zouma, Everton.
I think it's a loan.
One of them's permanent. I can't remember which.
Yeah, so...
Defenders.
Either way, maybe he's very particular. So...
Yeah, who knows?
But yeah, Spurs couldn't... They seem to have a weird... a bit of bad luck.
They had an offside or a VAR curse.
Yeah.
But none of them were wrong.
Yeah.
You got, like, it
was almost like VAR actually, like...
Worked?
No, like, hyped them up. Like, they were like... Maybe they weren't even expecting it. And then they're like, oh, we're going to VAR it. And they're like, oh, there's a chance. But then it was like, nah.
Yeah. I mean, the first one was outside the box.
Yeah.
I love that Rudiger couldn't stay away from the action. Like, he scored. And then immediately... Yeah. Spurs went down the other end of the pitch, nearly won a penalty, which Rudiger gave away.
Yeah, well, this reminds me of when we've talked about something like this before when Ash was here. It must have been a similar situation a while back, and we kind of came to the idea that it should just be a penalty anyway.
Yeah,
because it was like so close. It's like,
kinda, but I think this is a bit different because the goalkeeper's on the line. And the guy, it's Højbjerg.
Oh, that's right. That's what happened last time.
He's not actually running. He's not actually running towards the goal. Rudiger pushes him wide, so he's running like. It's not like he's at the corner flag or anything, but he's.
Well, no, he runs into the box.
Yeah, but he's not running towards the goal.
Yeah, he is.
He's also moving away from the goal, like laterally.
No, it's more like he's trying. I think it's more like he's trying to jump over it. Like it's because I agree that the contact begins outside the box, but it's just he sort of tries to jump over it and like doesn't, and and then he falls when he lands in the box. He's looking for it. Like, that's the thing. He knows that it's outside of the box, and he's trying to get into the box.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I love that Rudiger never said that it wasn't a foul. He was just like pointing at the area on the pitch.
He's like, I fouled him right here.
Yeah, I fouled him right here. It was like, I kicked the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah, so fair enough. That wasn't a pen. And then Kepa's won.
And then Kepa made a great tackle, or he made like a great centre-back sliding tackle.
Yeah. Maybe that's why the referee gave it, because he was like, you're meant to use your hands, you dumb dick.
Yeah, he had to VAR it to be like, what? You actually did that? Like, that's...
It's like what are you doing?
Use your hands.
Yeah,
like,
just stop.
Yeah, it's like Kepa just sometimes when he's playing, just forgets that he's a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Like, during set pieces. And,
like during set pieces and shots.
Yeah.
And Carabao Cup finals.
Yeah. So,
and then they had another one, offside, Harry Kane. Like that was amazing, because I don't think I've ever seen, or no, I have, but it's been a long time since I've seen a goalkeeper play a striker offside.
Yeah,
again, tactical masterpiece.
Yeah,
Kepa Arrizabalaga.
It's so far forward, and then Rudiger's on the goal line, and then there's another defender just down the other end, but it's got to be two guys behind. So
amazing.
Yeah,
and hilarious. And then the other semi is tomorrow. The first leg.
Well, just one last thing I was going to say was it's interesting that Conte just smashed. Is that all like 3 times by? Oh, no, he's played Chelsea twice now, but 2 legs beaten twice.
Beaten by his whole club.
Yeah, he hasn't played them in the league yet. No.
I mean, they are better than Spurs.
Yeah. But so he's just like stepped down
by a 1.5 goal per game margin.
Yeah. All right, yeah. So and then you say the next match is
we play Arsenal tomorrow morning.
Play Arsenal. Okay, so yeah,
I'm not worried.
Yeah, you should put them down. So then it's Chelsea,
vaccinate them.
Chelsea Liverpool fight. You think you can win it?
Look, mate, I hope so. But
be good to get a bit more.
We've had 2 draws against Chelsea so far, so we'll probably go to pens, and from there, who knows? It's literally a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
As we've said so many times.
Yeah, definitely, of course. Just like everything. But,
it's either yes or no.
Yeah. Everything's a binary because we live in a simulation, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's the only reason Newcastle have that much money.
Yeah. It's okie dokie. So now we'll go back to the transfers, right? There was a couple others. We have had Felipe Coutinho reunite with his former teammate,
with his dad
and captain
Steven
Gerrard, at Aston Villa. He's signed to Aston Villa. Interesting. He was linked with a number of Premier League clubs, but he chose Aston Villa.
And went to one eventually.
Yeah. Interesting move. It's hard to know how this is going to go because he's not been in the peak of his career. He has struggled. He played best at Bayern where he was not wanted.
It's an unusual one, but I think this is a good project for him to rejuvenate himself. And I look forward.
I suppose he has to. Yeah. Pressure's on, kind of. He has to.
Yeah.
And he has to. Well, he's going to be fighting players like Buendia for this place, and
I think Buendia can benefit from this as well. Like, there's no, this is one of the guys who, a few years ago, would have been considered one of the top players in his position. And there's no reason that he can't benefit from learning with him and playing with him. They don't have to. I mean, obviously there's competition in the squad, but it can be both.
Yeah.
And I think it will be.
Yeah, well, largely, I have to admit that Stevie G does seem to know what he's doing, somewhat. I mean, I know we just beat him, but he is really good. On that note, another transfer, well, the other way, our player, Tuanzebe, has returned from loan from Aston Villa.
Yes.
And apparently it's because
Stevie
G
the
didn't
coach.
want to play a Man U player.
I mean, that's amazing. That's look. I don't care.
He's still red ass.
If it was like Wayne Rooney coaching a Liverpool player and he did the same thing, I would still think that that's very funny. But that's a beautiful sight. That's wonderful shithousery.
Hey, look, fair enough. I wouldn't play him either.
Yeah, it's what, Twain Debbie?
Yeah.
Huh. Not that bad.
Just not that good either.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. So I'm not really spoiled for choice, I suppose.
No. Well, all right. Mings?
Not with...
Mings
no, I mean us.
Oh. Yeah, he's come back to replace Phil Jones.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Well, to be sold to Newcastle.
But while we're on there is talk of us... well, yeah, I feel like we are... People are thinking we're going to pick up a player or two, maybe. Some Rangnick kind of players. Like, it's been talking of another holding midfielder, mainly. So, I want to see what happens with that, because that could make a big difference.
Any mention on who it might actually be?
Well, yeah, they've linked with the guy from Leipzig. It was
Not Nkunku.
not Nkunku, but man, Nkunku scored a hat-trick the other day, I think.
Oh my god!
And, yeah, dude, like it was right after I mentioned it last time.
Right, the Kunk.
Nkunku's really good, man.
He's great.
The midfield is like
Oh, Eddie Emmy.
Eddie.
Is that who you mean?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his old player, or Declan Rice would be insane. I mean, he's a really good player.
That would cost a lot at this point.
Probably wouldn't happen mid-season. Matt, another one from Leeds, Matt Phillips.
Calvin
Phillips. Yeah, Calvin Phillips. I think that's actually probably a good move. Or something like that. But we'll have to wait and see. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. We're still getting linked with Bowen, but I don't know if that's going to go on. Right.
Yeah, see. All right. You got anything else? Is there any closing thoughts? Or?
Drink more water. Yellow pisses for losers.
Yeah, you gotta stay hydrated, I suppose. This is very true. Yeah, well, we're gonna go away for Ash's Stag weekend. So if you're lucky, there may be some
bonus content,
football friends bonus content. Yeah, face reveal. Yeah, you don't be.
Don't hype yourself up.
Excited,
it's all right. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But other than that, we'll call it there this week. It's been another good week on the Football Friends podcast.
We'll let the listeners decide. Hey, we haven't fucked up.
No, yeah, like I said, we're going for a perfect
year.
Perfect. It's still on it. Brilliant. All right. Well, like and subscribe, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.
Ka kite.